Good morning and welcome to the EZFX Trading Room broadcast. Today is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, today is Wednesday, the November 2nd. That's right, 2016. My name is Bradley Freed, and today we'll be going through the charts again, updating our watch list, which I have right here. And we're going to look at any changes that have happened overnight, any new trade opportunities. And I want to talk a little bit about the election because that's coming up, and that's something that we should be aware of and we should have a kind of a plan for. So I'll be getting into that during the course of the broadcast too. Just to review, yesterday we were watching the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, the euro pound, and the New Zealand CAD. These are all sell setups potentially, but there wasn't really anything there for us in terms of a new setup. Our new and open trades were the pound dollar buy was new, the pound Aussie buy was new, and the pound New Zealand buy was new. Our open trade signal trades were the pound yen buy, dollar peso buy, euro Swiss buy, euro dollar buy, euro New Zealand buy, dollar CAD buy was not a signal trade, but it was open, and then the dollar kroner buy. So let's go ahead and jump over to the charts. We're actually already there, and I want to look at each of these pairs and see what's happened to them and what we need to do. I did send out some updates yesterday. We had 3 trades that had updates. We were able to take partial profit at target 1 and move the stop to target to the break even. So all that's real good. That means we finally made some money after weeks of either nothing happening or losing money. Although it was a very controlled loss because I pulled back from the trading intensity. So I'm hoping post-election we're really going to see some trends emerge and assert themselves. We're going to have some opportunities to make back any money that we drew down during the last several weeks, and also to make new profit, because I think things will stabilize once the election is over, and well, provided there's a Clinton win, which I think is likely, although they thought Brexit wouldn't pass either. So anyway. If not, then get ready for the ride of your life, because it's going to be really, the dollar is going to go through the floor, and the pound will go up versus the dollar. So that will be interesting and probably pleasing to the UK, because they won't be the only ones who elected an insane government. Anyway, I try not to get political on my webinars, but why not? Because politics is driving our currency pairs right now. Let's go ahead and look at the pound. Let's get into the pound dollar. Let's just look at that right now, because this has actually done everything we've asked of it, which I think is very interesting. We were on the 4-hour chart. We had a buy bubble. We had 1 trend line break, 2 trend line breaks, 3 trend line breaks, and a triangular moving average color change. This is, in my estimation, tradable. There is only one issue, and that's the size of the stop. If we put the stop all the way down here, that's a 235 pip stop. Our trade size is going to be extremely small. If you put it here, it's 163, and I think that's reasonable. I think if it goes this far against this, it's going to go this far against this. So I think that's a decent place to put a stop. It's a place where we'd want to get out anyway, because it's not responding well to us. And it's enough space that it's going to give it some breathing room to retrace, and as it moves, if it's going to move up for us at all. If you recall, we talked about a trading plan. We're going to use the fibs for the initial profit target. We have a 50% Fibonacci level right here, retracement level at 1.27623. That's going to be our first target. And then our final target is going to be, we can use this month's monthly pivot at 1.3110 is the closest one. There's the next month, last month's monthly pivot isn't much different, but we'll go ahead and use that one. And this is ready to go. It's new and it's open. So I'm going to change it to new / open. Just call it open. And I will send out a signal on this trade. Okay, pound Aussie buy, that's another one. You'd think, all the pound pairs are going to be doing the same thing, but of course this market is just insane. So Of course, they're not. The pound Aussie is almost doing that. It's almost getting ready to punch through this latest trend line we drew. The triangular moving average has turned blue again. But I need that breakout and close before I'm going to be convinced that it's worth taking a risk on. So this is still new, and we're still waiting for that confirmation. Next, we have our pound newsy buy. This one, of course, has done something completely different. Remember, we drew the triangle. We were waiting for a second breakout before we get into it. It's dropped and made a lower low, where it's returned to the previous low here, and it has made a lower low. So this is starting to trend in the sell direction again, the pound versus the newsy dollar. If you want to analyze this, interestingly, the pound is rising against the dollar because the prospect of a Trump presidency has risen slightly, given recent polling data. So this has been driven slightly to the north. A Clinton victory, however, would see this quickly drop, maybe down to here. So take this with a grain of salt. And before the election, if we're still in this trade, we're going to want to move the stop to break even, or just take profit if we're in the money and it's been moving in our favor. But I do think election dynamics are the key driver behind these currency pairs at this point in time. That's why you see something completely different on the pound newsy. The newsy dollar would be sort of a safe haven from the dollar in the event of Trump winning the election. Or I'm sorry, the pound dollar, and then our other dollar pair was the scratch that for a second. I'll find another dollar pair, but we're not seeing the newsy dollar rise against the pound. In fact, we're seeing it strengthen against the pound. And that's probably why, because the newsy dollar has very little to do directly with the United States compared to other currencies. On the flip side, we have the euro dollar. This has been going gangbusters in our favor as the euro gains against the dollar. Same reason. So we would expect a Clinton win. I'd see the dollar strengthening against the euro, and this may drop suddenly. So this would mean if before the election on the evening of November 7th, you're going to want to think about taking profit on these trades and just getting out, seeing what happens, watching the aftermath, and then going ahead and making a plan after the dust kind of settles. Excuse me. All right. So anyway, that brings us to our pound yen trade. Our pound dollar is the one that I'm willing to go ahead and trade now. Pound yen is our only open pound trade. What is it doing? Well, it's not doing much. It's kind of dropped back. It was dropping pretty hard, and now it's kind of consolidating. We'll see if it'll rise again for us. The key thing here has been the dollar yen, right? The dollar yen was rising. This is a 4-hour chart. And if you want to go with our election idea, this is either moving in a range or it was rising because of the prospect of a Clinton win, in which the dollar gains strength against the yen and the yen weakens. And this polling data yesterday impacted the currency, driving it lower. So I think there's some jitters here that are driving this currency pair. And that has also had impact on our pound yen because this is sort of tracking with the dollar yen right now. So if poll numbers change or get better, or there's another Trump blow up that drives his poll numbers down, something crazy that he does, or something crazy that happens, this could move again. I'm still in this trade right now. I am not unhappy with our stop level. I do think this could end up being a consolidating move with ever wider motions, and it could rise and give us a new high. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on to this. Dollar peso buy. This one has also done extremely well for the same reason. If the peso was weakening quite significantly because of the prospect of a Trump win. Then you had all this good polling data for Hillary Clinton, and it started to strengthen against the dollar. And now this polling data yesterday drove this nice move for us. Nice catalyst for us to hit profit target 1, move the stop to break even, and then we're getting close to target 2. So of course I'm not unhappy with that. That's worked out really well for us. And we'll see if we can get to the final profit target. Euro Swiss buy. This stopped out, right? It was moving fairly well. Then it just collapsed and hit the stop here. This was not a break even, so we did take a small loss on this trade. Approximately 36 pips that we got in there, but that's not where we got in. We got in up here. So it's more like 50 pips. So Euro Swiss stops out. Euro dollar buy. And again, as I said, this has moved very well. We've hit the first target. We moved the stop to break even. I did send out updates on this. And we're on our way, I think, to target number 2. Target number 2, I need to remind myself what it is too. It's this weekly pivot right here. And I'm going to stick with that just because that was our original plan. You, of course, have the option of the monthly pivot as well. That's beyond the 78.6% retracement level, so it's much more aggressive. But it definitely could conceivably get there. But I'm going to stick with our original plan. I found that when, and you may have found this too, that in the middle of a trade, when you change your plan, that it can work against you. That see it going well, so you get a more aggressive profit target, then it hits your original profit target, and then retraces or reverses. And if you'd only stuck to that initial target, you would have taken in that much money, but you have to wait and either hope that it's going to come back and make a higher high, or accept a lesser profit than you would have had if you stuck with the original plan. And that's a game I played many times early in my trading career. I finally was able to learn that it's just not a good idea. Stick with the plan that you started with is generally the best policy. All right. Euro Newsy buy. This has dropped quite a bit, but we did get to the first profit target to this. The stop is or was at break even. If I'm looking at let me just jump into my live account. Let's see if we've stopped at a break even yet or not. This is still alive, but it's dropping pretty hard and fast. So I think we're probably going to get taken out at break even. I don't mind that, really, if that happens. Our stop loss was at the original signal. Our original entry was 1.52046. Let me just mark that on our chart here. But this is why we moved the stop to break even, right? We took some profit, we took risk off the table. We had an opportunity to try for more. We moved the stop to break even, and if something like this happens, then we can go ahead and take profit or allow it to stop out without worrying about it. We can just let it ride. And then we'll be ready for the next setup, right? Next, we have a dollar CAD buy. This has given us a reversal signal. It still hasn't dropped really, but I don't think I'll wait for it to drop. we can go ahead and get out at the same level we took profit at initially for the first profit target. And we'll close out this trade with a profit of 256 pips. Finally, the dollar kroner. And this is another one that was impacted by the election this week. We saw it moving very well. And now we have a Class B zone here, and we have our triangle moving average, which has moved to the red. At this juncture, you can go ahead and close this trade because we do have this reversal signal, or you can hold on and see if in fact it's going to recover. Entirely up to you, but we do have a stop exposure on this pair. And we're currently down about $16, or however many pips we're down relative to our entry price. That's it. Those are all the updates I really have. Regarding the election, I did say I'd talk about that a little bit. I don't think much has changed with these pairs, so I'm not going to look at them today. We'll look at them again tomorrow. But generally speaking, we have an event like this, especially this election, which has been so crazy. And I wouldn't say it's close statistically, but it's tightened enough that it's making people nervous. And really, psychology is what drives the markets. So I think it's important to think about not being in the market during the election. That means, as I said, on the 7th, the evening of the 7th, before the election day, you're going to consider closing out all your trades, or at least moving your stops to break even or a little bit into the money, so that if there's a lot of volatility that stops you out, you're not going to get slipped really, really bad or have some other issue. Also, I use FXCM, and I have had announcements saying that they're going to be increasing margin requirements on some currency pairs during the election. So they're also anticipating this volatility. And we just don't want to be, I don't think we want to be taking new trades into that volatility. And I don't think we want to be exposed with stops that aren't a break even if we're in the money. So we'll either take profit and just ride it out and just see what happens, and then look in the following days and find new trade opportunities, or we're going to move those stops to break even and see if they can go further in some cases for us, but we're going to control our risk. That's just my 2 cents. Of course, you can do whatever you want, but I tend to be conservative during these kind of events. I was during Brexit, even though there were trades that in retrospect would have done very well, given our technical setup and the signal that we receive from our indicators. But I simply don't want to gamble. I don't get a thrill out of that. I like to take measured opportunities with a procedure, and I don't think we benefit at all from trading into volatility that's more than we're comfortable with. So anyway, that's the update for today. Again, I don't have any new trades for you. We're still managing our current list, and I'll keep you updated by mail as usual with Signal emails. If you have any questions, just jump back to the site real quick. You can go on the community and post to the trading room group. You can just click the link right here, and it'll take you right there. Or you can send me a private message via the website, or you can email me at ezfxsignal@gmail.com. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Trading Room. Take care and happy trading.